But what I come out with, what came from the analysis, the interpretative phenomenological analysis, was 3 findings. Very, very strong findings about the event itself. Short, convivial, informal, non-hierarchical, no keynotes, no banknotes, no nothing, just a gathering. Just never use the word organization, but the word gathering seemed to be the most. And the 3 key things were the demeanor of the MC. It's like a session in a pub, not unlike a traditional Irish music session during the Fleadh, not far from that. The other key, and this is where it's a hybrid of, say, Pecha Kucha and the bar camps, is the nano presentation. Now, that's a word that specifically came from Ewan McIntosh, from the founders of TeachMeet. 2 minutes. We used to get 2 minutes of 2 and 7. If you're lucky, 5 seems to be the average now. But my friend Sarah Jane, who I interviewed, she uses this with her staff for staff meetings, and she uses the word spragu for the nano presentation. Spragu is all you need. You're a busy teacher. You're going to give up your Thursday evening. You're going to go to the hotel with the other teachers, have a pint afterwards. But all you want to know is a little look into someone else's classroom and a little spark or something for Monday was another thing one of the teachers called it. But they were kind of obvious things to anyone who'd been to a TeachMeet. What wasn't obvious to me, who'd been to 100 TeachMeets before I started to look into it, was that this comes from open space. It comes from Harrison Owens' open space, flip the conference dynamic. There's no agenda before you start. The only agenda is those 9 people there have signed up to speak. We'll take them in random order and we'll go with it. So that open space dynamic is really, really important. And then the participants, I loved the findings about the participants, because I thought it was just, teachers out for the crack, like myself, all of us to be together. But I almost cried at some of the answers of the teachers who said, why did I go to it in the first place? Yes, curiosity was the biggest answer there, but the most moving answer was, I wanted to see, would it make me a better teacher? And again, I'm thinking of NEARI all the way through these. So I got 3 dispositions in the answers to the questionnaire. The seekers going to find something to make themselves better. The sharers who are just willing to stand up and share something with others, and 2-way sharing. I'm sharing with you, but I expect you to come back with something from me. And the group I call the bringers, I just took that from one of the answers. The person who goes, I want one of those. I want that for my group. I was that person. I went to Scotland. I went to a TeachMeet. Went, whoa, this is something else. I've never been in a room like this. I want this. I want this for us. And then that perspective I spoke of already, where do people situate this in their professional learning? Because they take this deadly seriously as part of their professional learning, and they put it somewhere in the intersections, but the informal end of the intersections between community practice, professional learning network, and what's the third one, CPD. And then, sorry, Mary is doing, oh yeah, that's grand. And then the biggest part of the analysis was 15 interviews, and they weren't anonymized, and that was really important. 15 people from around the world who were, I suppose, players, experienced, had done this for years, just sat and answered what I threw at them. And I learned to do interpretative phenomenological analysis. It's powerful, powerful, powerful stuff. And the 4 big things that come out of it were all the P's. It's very personal, very, very personal. And these are in order of sort of size of theme. It's very, very personal. It's very, very purposeful. Doing it for a reason. It's not just for the crack. It is for the crack, but it's not just. It's very practical. It's not all airy-fairy stuff. It's really, I can do this on Monday. And then the one that surprised me, blew me over, was it's very political. Very political. This is, don't appropriate this, leave us alone, just let us get on with because there is a move towards, let's have a TeachMeet. We TeachMeet for you. There's a little bit of that that can creep in. So they were the three main findings. And of course, I thought I was done. PhD me, sure, I thought I was done when I had the findings. You had to do your discussion and you had to do your conclusions and you had to come up with something, you know, meaningful from it. So for the last year, I was doing the discussion and reflections and trying to work out. And it took me something. What did it take me? About 6 years to get to the sentence that was able to. We can't see it because it's behind the people. So what have we got here? We've got a humble thing. No locus of control, no banknotes, no keynotes, makes no claims, stakes no claims. It's just there. It's a very strange phenomenon. It's open. It's open in about 15 different ways. Open free, open Libra, open source, open everything. And it's social. There are three non-negotiables about it. What does it look like? To me, my metaphor was the desire line. I went down to Limerick to do a 3-day statistics course. Yeah, fine, that was great. Well, what I got was my metaphor for TeachMeet. It's a desire line. It's the path those students made to, you know, to get directly to where they wanted to go rather than on the steps that the college had built for them. And then I discovered, you know, looking into the theory that desire lines are just enacted agency. My supervisors thought agency would be a much bigger thing at the beginning, but it was a silent thing. People were just doing it. Agency is like, it's only any good when it's enacted, when it's what you have done rather than anything else. And then the three wishy-washies that are still finding their way into it, it's informal, it's intersectional, it's evolving, it's changing all the time. The pandemic completely changed it. We're going, you know, something that's predicated on face-to-face, you know, can I buy you a pint or whatever, suddenly went online, but it was not a bad thing. And then those 4 Ps that I spoke about, it's very, very potent. There's huge power in it, huge power. And there's a huge dilemma because there's such power in it. People are looking at using it, maybe controlling it and using it in ways maybe that it shouldn't be. And so after 6 to 7 years, I came up with my sentence. And I went home to Paddy one day and I said, you know, it's after taking me 3 days to write this sentence. I said, I can't go around with a list of 7 conclusions. I have to be able to say it in a sentence. So I'm not a natural writer. I'm a talker. But anyway, I worked it out that for me, like the conclusions for me, the PhD researcher, the essence, nature, niche, and what matters in TeachMeet, based on the finding of my research, is that it's humble, open, social, desire line of enacted agency, informal, intersectional, evolving. It's potent in ways that are personal, purposeful, practical, and political for participants. But it's so funny because all my TeachMeet friends then just go, so it's by teachers for teachers then. Yeah. And at certain stages, we would have jokes among ourselves. And I'd say, why are you doing this? Like, we know the answers. I said, well, actually, we don't. We never knew it was an open space. We never knew it had a provenance. We never knew it was political and had such power. So I'm very proud, very, very proud of all of that. But the real reason I came here was that I've come to NEARI twice before. I've come to NEARI several times. I've spoken twice before when I was at a Nexus. When I was at, what will I do with my data? Is it okay to be an insider researcher? And I got all the wisdom and support and help that I needed in 2019. And then in 2020, when we were COVID bound and we were talking about our values and could we keep going, I realized I was in the middle of learning more about the TeachMeet by being able to go to them online. I could go to Australia, you know, I could go to America, to places I never thought I could go and see how things were out there. So this is my little homage or thanks. And these are all screenshots from the book itself. So you're in the acknowledgement page because there's no way I wouldn't have progressed into the analysis of the data with confidence and strength without the NEARI group. The positionality was my big problem the first time as well. Actually, I think there's another question that I brought in, this positionality. Again, Conor Galvin said, go back to NEARI. They'll help you sort yourself out. no, no better group to sort you out on positionality. I mean, I was learning a whole lexicon and a whole way of being that as a science teacher, I had never even questioned. So definitely thank you for the positionality. And I also thought, as I was doing my seekers and sharers and bringers analysis of the people who go to teach meets, I see all those in NEARI. I see them all here. I see that cycle in the action research group that comes and goes on the screen and in real life.